Hey guys, it's Aaron from Aaron's Outdoor, and in today's video I'm doing a walkthrough of my new kayak which I just purchased yesterday, and it's the Lifetime Yukon 11-foot 6-inch angler kayak. So I do already have a kayak that I bought about a year ago, but there's a lot of friends I have don't have a kayak that I could go fishing with, so that's really the main reason I bought another kayak. It was definitely kind of a big purchase, but I think it'll be great, you know, just to have friends out on the water in the future who don't own kayaks. But anyway, in today's video I'm just going to be going over some of the features of this kayak, and I'll probably do a review a month later or so after I've actually used the kayak and gone fishing with it some more. Okay, so here's a first look at this kayak. I think most of these kayaks, the Yukon comes in a like light blue and navy blue color, but I got the one that's kind of a, you know, tan and gray and black. I think it looks pretty cool. It was actually the only one that the Walmart had in stock, so I just decided to get the gray one. But so anyway, starting at the front of the boat here, we have a little watertight compartment, which is kind of cool. This is something my other kayak did not have, which was a 10-foot kayak, and it's supposed to be watertight, and it does have a pretty decent seal on here. This has a full rubber, you know, rubbery material that should keep most of the water out when it is right up against this. But I would not totally trust this to be completely waterproof, because with my old kayak, or my other kayak I have, I think water seeped in through different holes where like the screws were in, into the hull. So there could get some water, you know, into the hull of the kayak here. So if I ever put stuff in here, I'll probably just put it in a dry bag and then put it in this little hatch right here. But it's still definitely a really nice feature that this kayak has, and you can definitely fit a lot of stuff in that part of the kayak. And so the next feature right here is actually very handy for me, because I make a bunch of fishing videos, and it's handy for anyone else who makes, you know, fishing videos. But it's this little camera mount right here. So this is basically what the tip of a tripod looks like, and you can just put your camera right there. So that's handy, and it gives you a nice view of, you know, the seat where I'll be sitting. So that's a pretty cool little feature they added there. And then another feature they added was this little leash right here, and this is supposed to help you stand up in the kayak. You know, gives you a little leverage when you're standing up or sitting down. I'm not totally sure if I'll actually be able to stand and fish out of this kayak, but I may actually do a video, just a stability test, and seeing if this is actually easy to stand in and fish out of. But anyway, the next feature we have right here are these little foot pedals that you can move. So these do seem a little bit low in quality. They're probably not the highest, you know, they're not the highest quality, but it is a little foot pedal. You can just pull this thing to move it up, and to move it back, there's a little lever right here. So, you know, move it back to whatever length you know, your legs are. That is kind of a nice feature though, because some kayaks, like the cheaper kayaks, just have those little indents that you can't move. So that's a nice little feature. And then another feature I like is they have a built-in fish ruler right here. So typically I only weigh my fish. I don't always get like a measurement on them, but since this is right here, I'll probably use it sometimes. You know, it's real handy. It's just a ruler. I already checked, it is accurate. That is exactly 6 inches, so it's a nice feature. Then coming to the other side of the kayak right here, we have a feature that's on most kayaks, and that is a little paddle holder. You know, they're handy. They hold paddles pretty well. You can just clip them in right there, take them out. And the paddle I got with this kayak is just a little Field and Stream paddle. It was like $50. It's nothing too nice, but that's what I had on my other kayak, and it'll definitely get the job done. Okay, and one of the nicest features of this kayak is the seat right here. So this is actually the exact same seat that my other Lifetime kayak came with, which was the Lifetime Teton 10-foot angler kayak. But the nice thing about this one that makes it a little bit cooler is this kayak has an option to have 2 different seating options. So right now this is in like the higher seating position, which is probably what you're going to use while you're fishing, and maybe what you're going to use while you're paddling also. But then I can adjust it. So like I said, I can adjust it, and this is the higher setting. Like I said, you can just take it out, put it in these front 2 holes. There we go. And then the back hole is a little bit farther down, so it gives you kind of a more sloped angle of your seat. And I think that's supposed to be a more comfortable position for after you're done paddling really far. You know, maybe when you get your just like rest for a minute, I think that'll be a good position. And one thing I did notice with my other kayak is it only had one position for the seat, and after I'd paddle or just be sitting in it for a few hours, it would get really uncomfortable. So I'm hoping this will kind of help that problem and give me a more comfortable position to sit in after I've been paddling and fishing for a while. So that was the seat, and now our next feature is a feature that pretty much every kayak has, and that is rod holders. It's got 2 rod holders behind the seat right here. It's pretty standard for these little cheaper sit-on-top kayaks, and pretty much any kayak really, so any fishing kayak. But the next feature we have is pretty nice. This is the back compartment, kind of. Well, it's not a compartment, it's just, you know, like the back deck. But this is really big. I don't know how long it is exactly. Actually, I'll go get a tape measure to tell you exactly how long this is. Okay, so it looks like this compartment is about 37 inches from like the top, from here to here, and then from the bottom to the bottom, looks like it's about 32 inches. So you can actually fit a pretty decent sized cooler right here. And then the widest part at the back is about 14 inches. The widest part in the front of this compartment is about 22 inches. So kind of keep that in mind. If you wanted to keep like a rectangular cooler back here, it's going to need to be at least 14 inches in the back, unless it's, you know, going to be off the floor a little bit. And another nice little feature that basically every kayak has are these little straps. These will hold your gear in better if you're just going to have, like, you know, a backpack back here or something like that, or a bag instead of a cooler. I don't know if I'll really put a cooler back here, but it is big enough to put a decent sized cooler that I could potentially use as a live well. I don't know if I'll do that, because if I had a live well filled with water, that'd be a lot more weight in my kayak and would give me a little extra strain when I'm paddling. Now, another feature I did not talk about at the beginning was these high quality handles right here. They're pretty nice, and I think they'll last pretty long. This is pretty much the same handle that my other kayak had in the sides. So my other kayak had those 2 handles on the sides, but then the ones in the front and back were lower quality. But luckily these ones are still pretty high quality, and that's kind of a nice feature. Okay, so the next feature we have is actually right under this handle, and that would be this little wheel right here. Now this is probably my favorite feature, because this little wheel, it's actually slightly off the ground right now, that's why it's spinning, but it allows you to just roll your kayak around without carrying it. Now, I'm not totally sure what the exact weight of this kayak is. One website said 82 pounds, I think another website said 78, so you're looking at about 80 pounds. That's kind of a lot for one person to carry. So my other kayak is like 53, I could carry that pretty easily by myself, but that will be a very handy feature. It's a very small wheel, so it's not really for like going over like bumpy dirt. It's perfect for concrete though, and boat ramps are made of concrete, so if you're taking this out to a lake, you can just roll it in right on a boat ramp, and that's kind of a really handy feature. So this is just long concrete, and it's pretty effortless. It's pretty easy. Anyway, now we're coming on to our next feature, which is right there. This is the little plug, or the drainage system. So if you ever get water in your kayak, this is an easy way to just unplug this. Sometimes they're a little bit hard. I typically will, to open them, I'll typically put like a little credit card where that flap is, and it helps me actually grip this better. But you can still do it without that. I just popped it open. There, you can see that's just an easy way to drain your water out, and I do actually like this better than my other kayak, because my other kayak had it right there at the end, and every time I wanted to drain the water, I had to get this whole thing and put it right up on the back end like that. But this way, you're just going to be able to put the kayak on its side, which is really easy, and drain the water that way. And the next feature is a feature I kind of skipped over at the beginning, but it's these little accessory track mounts right here. The other one is on that side right there. These were on my other kayak. You can mount stuff like a fish finder, a rod holder, you know, whatever you want right here that is compatible with this mount. Personally, I never used it on my other kayak. I like to keep it without, you know, too many additions, and I have like a portable fish finder, like a little deeper, so I don't like adding too much to it, because that just makes it heavier whenever you want to carry it. But those are very handy, and you can definitely utilize those. And another thing I forgot to mention earlier about this little hatch is it's actually very nice to get access into the inside of your kayak. Number one, you could clean it out a little bit better. I don't know, you'll get mud in there or whatever. It's probably mainly just water, which you can use by using that little plug thing to drain it out. But another great thing is you can put an in-hole transducer in your kayak by using this little hatch right here, because you know you get access to the inside of it. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but if you're considering buying this, it's definitely one option you could do. Okay, well, I hope you found this video helpful if you're considering buying a Lifetime Yukon 11-foot 6-inch angular kayak. So far it looks pretty good. I haven't taken it out on the water yet, but I will have videos with it coming out here soon, and chances are if you're watching this video kind of way after I make this video, I may have already made a review and a stability test of this kayak. So if I did, I'll have them down in the description of this video. As soon as I make them, I'll put a link to them in the description of this video. So anyway, I hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. But I'll catch you guys in that next video. And as always, thanks for watching.